Hey there, everyone. This is Ray Higdon, and man, I am pumped. I'm excited for today. This is this is going to be a lot of fun, and I appreciate each and every one of you on here. Let's say some hellos. There's always people that what's up, Joel? Joe Burrell in Colorado. I will be seeing you on Thursday, my friend, doing a lunch and a dinner presentation out in Colorado. Let's see. Alan, Andrew, Arlen, Bob, Carmen, Carol, Cindy, Dave, David, Denver, Derek, Diane, Diana, Dominic, Duke, Eric, let's see, Fontella, Frank, Grant, Jack, Jamie, James, lots of James, Jarrett, Jeff, Jill, Jim, Joe, Joel, John. There's a lot of you on here. I don't know if I can get through all of you, but awesome. And heading up the pack there is Zarko. Very nice, very cool name. And Tom, lots of Toms. I see my man Terry Petrovic, awesome leader. Awesome. Simunge, my good friend in the Coast Guard. Ron Deering, Rob Four. My goodness, now I'm getting all nervous. All these leaders on here. Mark Berman, the coin salesman extraordinaire. This guy sells more coins than almost my entire team combined. All right, awesome. Some awesome leaders on here. Very appreciative of you taking a little bit of time out on a Sunday to learn some cool stuff. And we're just gonna rock this thing, guys. I mean, I am. Here's, it's funny because I'm constantly, hey Melody, how are you? Awesome. And just so you guys know, I will be in Denver Thursday. I'm doing a lunch and a dinner in Denver on Thursday. I'm in Sacramento on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I think, and then I'm out in Hawaii to visit my friends out there. So if you're at any of these places, then please let's meet up, let's shake hands, let's take a picture, let's have a beer, let's do whatever to connect with each other and just build that nice community and family. And I'm very grateful for my family, my Numis family, because you guys have helped me just accomplish some amazing things. There's no way I could have done it on my own, and I'm just very grateful to each and every one of you. So let's not spend all day Sunday with chitter chatter. Let's get this thing a rocking. I know. Let's see. We got about 90% of the people here. Joe Burrell is saying Denver luncheon, 12:45 in the Denver Tech Center at the Great Northern Tavern. That's on Thursday. Cool. All right, so I'm calling this Millionaire Recruiting, the do's and don'ts of prospecting that guarantee success. This is, and I've done quite a few webinars on prospecting, on recruiting, on closing, on all kinds of stuff, traffic, internet marketing, etc. This is I created this in a way that I've never actually done before, and it's based on coaching a whole lot of people and really pinpointing exactly what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, not what they want to hear. Hey, John White from Austin, good to see you, good to see you. And let's get this party started. All right, cool. So, in case you don't know, because I know I actually have some people on here that this may be their first exposure to me. Some of you have seen me 152,000 times, and you're sick of me talking about me. But for those that have no idea, who I am or this first webinar, I'll just share with you for 2 seconds. I am the #1 income earner in Numis. I'm currently the only 6-star director in Numis, and I am poised to be the first ambassador. One of the top 5 producers in My Lead System Pro. I'm an instructor for Better Networker, and I think this is cool. I went from personal foreclosure to Fiji in less than 2 years. Let me explain. I was in personal foreclosure when I first joined Numis in July of 2009, and as of this in January, I got engaged in Hawaii on a Numis trip. I got engaged in Hawaii to my beautiful fiance, Jessica, which many of you know. And I just paid for our honeymoon, which is going to be in Fiji. And so that's going to happen in November, actually. And so, yeah, we're going to stay at the Namali, which is the Tony Robbins Resort. Certainly not the most inexpensive place to pick, but it sure looks cool. And so from foreclosure to Fiji in less than 2 years. That's what's possible with this company, Numis Network. That's what's possible in this industry. And I just think that's pretty cool. How many people out there think that's pretty cool? Is anyone? I mean, is it just me? I'm not trying to brag here, but I'm just trying to say, hey, that's what's possible, guys. That's what's possible. You can get to, if you're, no matter how down and out you are, you can have unbelievable success if you just stay focused, if you just, keep that hammer down. There were times, let me tell you, there were probably 20 to 30 different times where I wanted to quit. In fact, there were many times I was poised by the phone to call up Chris and Jake and say, you know what, to hell with this, but I didn't. And maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's the difference between those that jump to another company and those that stick with it and focus and have massive success. So very, very cool. I appreciate each and every one of you. I see cool, I see great, I see really cool, I see cool, my man. I suppose it's kind of cool, kind of neat. Cool, awesome. All right, so let's jump into it. So let's talk about prospecting places, because I did a little survey on my Facebook fan page and said, hey guys, if I'm going to do a webinar, what would you like to see? And I would say 90% of people said, prospecting, Ray. We got to learn how to prospect. We got to learn how to connect with people. We got to learn how to reach out and touch people, how to introduce our business. And so this is really, really focused on how to do it, how not to do it, why to do it, and again, it's done in a little bit different manner than I've ever done before, and I think you guys are going to get a lot of benefit out of this. So here's the three main categories that I see as prospecting places. Main categories. There's lots of places to meet people, but I think this kind of sums up the three major ones, and that's warm market, that's Facebook, and offline cold market. Okay, and just curious, what other places can you prospect? And I want to see what your guys' answer. What are your answers here to what other places besides these three are good for prospecting? Anybody? Or did I cover them all? Is that all three? There exists none others. Okay, all right. Real-time leads, Twitter, anywhere during the course of your day. See, I would kind of call that offline cold market. Okay. TV, meetups, okay, I would call that, offline cold market. Networking clubs, I'd call that offline cold market. Lead buying, yeah, that is, a place. Meetup groups, newspaper, LinkedIn, yeah. Post-it notes, I'm glad you said that. Post-it notes, that is not a way to prospect, actually. That is, post-it notes, any action where you do something in the hopes that an unnamed individual is going to respond, that is not prospecting, that's passive marketing. And so I'm glad you said that, because I disagree with that. A message in a bottle, well, that would be passive marketing as well, unless you threw that bottle at a particular person. Leads, that would be passive. TV, I'm not sure what you mean there. Networking clubs, I'd say that's offline. So, I mean, as far as, there's a couple other tweaks. I mean, PPC would be passive, yes. Google articles, that's passive. That is, where you're doing some action where an unnamed individual you're hoping will respond. There is zero guarantee that passive marketing will get you prospects, will get you leads. Will it over time? It's pretty hard not to if you do it consistently for a long period of time. But we're talking about prospecting. Church, absolutely. That could be a combination of warm market and cold market, offline cold market. Infomercials on TV, I'm not sure about that. Okay, so we talked about a couple different ways, and my last bullet there. This presentation will not cover passive marketing. It's something that people ask me. It's interesting. I'm certainly not against passive marketing, but if you are like me when I started and you need to make money, then I would spend much more time on actual prospecting than passive marketing. I'd spend a lot more time. In fact, I would spend less than 20%, maybe 25% of my time passive marketing and 75% or more active prospecting, which is, warm market, Facebook. It's where you're connecting with another named human being. You know their name. You're hoping that person exactly responds to whatever prospecting message you are initiating. So blogs, videos, articles, Craigslist, bandit signs, post-it notes, all of those things are passive marketing. Nothing wrong with them. I would just be careful my amount of time that I put into them, because here's what I see. I see people put 100% of their time into passive marketing and get very mixed results. I don't see people put a ton of time into prospecting and not see results. And if you are putting in a lot of time into actual prospecting, you're one of the few, and if you're not getting success, I'm going to show you exactly why you're not. And so this webinar is going to help those of you who do prospect but aren't getting good results, those of you who don't prospect but want to get results, and basically those, just to know how to connect with human beings. We're going to talk about that. I want to talk about the advantages and disadvantages. And this is something that, I've been, kind of pondering this the last few weeks of how to help with this, because I think there's a huge misconception on what has advantages and what has disadvantages. And so I want to cover, how this works. Warm market. Here's the advantages, here's the disadvantages. The warm market is the fastest. It's the easiest. It's the most proven. Since 1941, and I think it was Neutralite started the network marketing industry, and then Amway, and then you had Cost Cut, you had a couple other ones. Everything was done through warm market. There was no marketing of MLM. Every billion-dollar company has suggested to focus on your warm market. Okay, so it's the fastest, it's the easiest, it's the most proven, it's the cheapest, and it's hard to actually get through all of your warm market. It's funny because, yesterday I was at, or was it yesterday? No, Friday night. Friday night, I was at a local little, I don't know what you even call this place, like a pub kind of. And, a guy walked by and he said, "Hey, Ray, hey, how's it going? How you been?" And, I shook his hand. I'm like, "Hey, should connect sometime." Got his information. And I realized, I'm like, man, there are so many people in my warm market that I have not even reached out to. I mean, it is really, really tough. They say, psychologists say that we know about 2,000 people on a first name basis. Of course, we couldn't make a list of 2,000, but it's actually pretty hard to get through your entire warm market. Here's the disadvantages. A lot of times with a warm market, more than a cold market, we're addicted to the outcome, meaning we take offense if they say no. We take offense if they reject us. We take it personally. And often, we're too actually selfish to prospect them. And here's what I mean. There's a lot more people who care more about their image than actually helping people. And so they worry more about how they're going to be perceived by their warm market than if they can actually help the person. Now, fortunately, my good friend and the best man at my wedding, Christopher Peraldi, he was not selfish, and he actually called me and asked me to check out a newest presentation. And I got out of foreclosure, and I'll be in Fiji in November. So thank you, Chris, for not being selfish. But often, we are too selfish. I mean, there are people in my cell phone that in the beginning, I just wouldn't call because I just cared about my image with them more than I did about actually seeing if I could help them. Because that's what we are. We are problem solvers. We are here to actually help people. This is not about who can I sell a kit to or who can I sell coins to. This is about who can I actually help. That's our job. Our job is to help people. but sometimes we are simply too selfish. We care more about our ego and ourselves than we do about them. And so let's carry on. Facebook. The advantages is it is seemingly is easy. Why? Because you sit behind your computer, you can eat pork rinds and drink, Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, and not have to face rejection head on. You're not, a lot of times people will sit behind their screen and send off messages willy nilly, and if someone says they're a pitch person or a pyramid scheme or whatever, it doesn't hurt that bad. It is cheap. I'm not in here. I'm not talking about passive marketing, so I'm not talking about Facebook pay-per-click. I'm talking about just simply messaging and friending people on Facebook. An advantage of Facebook, you have endless prospects. You will literally never run out of prospects ever. With 600 million people and it growing every single day, you'll never run out of prospects. It's impossible. Here's the disadvantage. The disadvantage is this is your highest level of skepticism because they're pitched the most often. And they're usually pitching something themselves. Okay, so is it impossible to do Facebook? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. But you're dealing with the highest level of skepticism, people who have been pitched a lot of times, usually, and usually they're involved with something as well, and they want to pitch you. Now, the master at overcoming pitchmen is actually my fiance, Jessica Peretti. I had her teach it on a webinar not too long ago. She's awesome at the Facebook flip of taking people that are pitching her and getting them to sign up into her business. She's awesome. She's amazing. But another disadvantage actually of Facebook is it's not the fastest. It's pretty rare, and I talk about this later in the webinar, it's pretty rare to sponsor someone in Facebook within 30 days of initiation. It's pretty rare because, and it comes down to they have a high level of skepticism. Who the heck are you? Why should they sign up with you? And by the time you talk to them, they've probably been pitched 5 other things that same day. And so that's some of the disadvantages. Okay, doesn't mean you can't do it, but there are some disadvantages. Now, let's talk about the offline cold market. The advantage, cheap or free, and there's plenty. When you are at the car dealership, when you're at the soccer game, when you're at the networking function, when you're at the movie theater, when you're at the sporting, game, whatever, they're all around you. The disadvantage is you got to be hungry. You got to be hungry to do this. This is not for the mild-mannered. If you have a itty-bitty why and it's just not very big, you're probably not going to do this because this is definitely getting outside of most people's comfort zone. Most people's comfort zone, okay? Would you guys agree with that? Let's see. You're so right on, nailed the head. Too cool for school, yep. I am famished. Awesome, man. Yeah, cool. And isn't it neat to hear these things broken down this way? You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just call it like it is. Let's just say exactly like it is, and this is reality. Let's stop hiding behind a veil of excuse my French, but bullshit, and let's just call it like it is. If you are prospecting cold market offline, you are hungry. You are outside your comfort zone. If you are not that hungry. When I was in foreclosure, was I prospecting offline? You bet your butt. Anybody I could talk to, I at least tried to talk to. Did I get shot down? Plenty of times. Did I hear people tell me pyramid or scheme or whatever? Sure, absolutely. But I would never have gotten the leaders that I have without this process. I just wouldn't. And I do both, guys. I do, I do both. I do online and I do offline. Yeah, awesome, cool. So it sounds like people mostly agree. And so what's the advantage, disadvantages of other sources? Someone mentioned LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you have a higher caliber person. They don't get pitched as often, but they're also not on LinkedIn as often, nor are there as many people as you have on Facebook. So there are some advantages, disadvantages. Personally, I think LinkedIn is fantastic. I'm not very good with their interface. I don't, I think they've changed it up a little bit. So I haven't personally spent a lot of time on it, but I do believe it's a great source of talking to people. Um, and I'm going to go into why some of your online stuff can be a little bit more difficult. So here's what I put together. I think this is way cool. In fact, I think, maybe this could be written on an index card until you learn it to help you really watch from making, mistakes and doing the things that actually work. And so, let's get into it. This is purely, now did I have a double-blind, placebo-controlled study group that was, isolated for 6 months and that's how I came up with this? No. This is purely based on my gut. It's based on my opinion of doing hundreds of three-way calls and paying close attention to their results, coaching hundreds of people, and enrolling. I've enrolled, almost 200 now into Numis, 200 and I don't know 50 or something like that into MLSP, 100 into my very first company, and all along I mean I think I don't know it's maybe 600 or 700 something like that total. Definitely over 500, but something right around there. So this point system that I've put together is based on my opinion, but I believe it's pretty accurate. It'll pinpoint with deadly accuracy why you don't actually need more leads, but why you need to get better at connecting with people and being a human being rather than a pitchman or a pitchwoman. And one of my mantras is what you lack in experience, make up for in numbers. However, some of you are so clueless about this scorecard and what actually works that your numbers will have to be 100 times that than it needs to be, okay? I'm suggesting that if you just get slightly better, you could reduce the number of people you need to talk to by hundreds of percentages to actually get results. And so, I still suggest hit your numbers and talk to people, talk to a lot of people, but if you do it in the right way, you're going to have a lot more effective conversations. Okay? There's no sneaky way. A lot of people are looking for a shortcut. They're looking for a sneaky way or a BS way to become a great recruiter. Looking for some kind of, I don't know. But I see it all the time. I see, people looking for, Ray, I know you say talk to people and I know you say prospect, but I got this neat new laser beam that, it pings off their satellite dish and makes them want to call me or whatever. Some kind of craziness. This network marketing is the shortcut. Period. I want to ask you this question. Let me and please be honest. Could a guy that took 5 years to finish high school, that never finished college, that was in personal foreclosure, could a guy go from that and within 2 years be honeymooning in Fiji in any kind of corporate job? Is that possible? I don't think it's possible. I just don't. I don't think it's possible. Don't see it. And so that's what I'm saying. I didn't do a shortcut. And I just don't believe that there is a shortcut to become a great recruiter. You just got to get better and constantly get better. And so first I'm going to cover, and the negatives and the positives are very similar, but some of them are different. Okay, they're similar, but some are different. Okay, first I'm going to cover the prospecting scorecard in the negative manner. These are the things that cost you points, and then I'm going to tell you how I view the scorecard as your likelihood of sponsoring people. All right, so here we go. Number one, if you lead with product without knowledge of exact desire of product, that's negative 10 points. For example, if, and I know, I believe everyone on here is in Numis. If I'm leading with coins or I'm leading with gold and silver, and I have no idea if the person likes gold and silver or likes coins, then that's actually negative 10 points. Now, if I am at a coin collector convention or I'm at a gold and silver rally where I know people like gold and silver, or I know people like coins, then it's not negative 10 points. If I'm in a weight loss company and I'm pitching weight loss to everyone in the world without a knowledge of they want to lose weight, that's negative 10 points. Okay? Leading with product, and I know it's kind of difficult with us in Numas because we see other products and we're like, man, there's a million of those companies. This is just a no-brainer. We have a 5-year guarantee. These assets have historically appreciated. I wouldn't mind a garage full of it. Makes sense. Lead with the product. Well, if you don't know, because here's the problem. When you say coins, people have their own thoughts in their heads of what that means. Perhaps they picture old guys with magnifying loupes looking at these beat up copper coins, or they think that you are manufacturing the coin yourself and it's a Chuck E. Cheese token. If you say gold and silver, and they're not aware of the commodities market, or they're not they may think that this is some kind of huge investment. If you say gold and silver, people have their own uh, thoughts on what that means, and you only have a couple seconds to connect with somebody. Okay, so if you lead with this product without knowledge of their exact desire of that product, it's negative 10 points. Again, remember, you can argue with me all you want. These are my opinions, right? Can you argue with my opinion? You can if you want. It just doesn't matter to me. Okay? Okay. If you don't know their wants, needs, or desire, that's negative 10 points. Now, a wants could be, you know what? I'd really like to spend more time with my kids. I would really like to travel more. I'd really like to buy a boat. I'd really like to go see the Eiffel Tower. I guess that's more traveling, right? Wants, needs, desire. These are more of the positive aspects that are missing from their lives. Negative 10 points. Okay? If you don't know the reason why or their current problems as they see them, not you, it's negative 20 points. Let me explain. I guarantee you have a brother-in-law, or you have an aunt or an uncle, or you have someone in your family, or you have a close friend that you look at them and you think, man, they need something. They need something in their lives. They need to be motivated. God, they need to get out and do something. Okay? That's the problem as you see it, not them. So if you don't know their reason, one of the first questions that I ask, when people tell me, hey, I'm looking at home-based business, I say, why? Why? Has something recently changed, or what exactly is the reason why? Most rookie network marketers, if someone says, I'm looking at a home-based business, you're going to flip your lid and you're going to say, oh my God, I got the greatest one. It's fantastic. It's a ground floor of the next billion-dollar company. We just had a guy win a car. We just had 2 5-star records. It's gold and silver, never been done before. And you're going to launch into a sales pitch and you're going to lose them and get negative 20 points. Okay? Let's keep going. Here's the doozy. If you just don't make this one, you gain 50 points, okay? Talking too much, negative 50 points. This means not asking them questions. This means talking about you, talking about your company, talking about your credibility, talking about all the things that you know about your product and your compensation plan. You talk too much, that's negative 50 points. And by the way, it's the #1 mistake that network marketers make. If you fail to use tools, negative 10 points. Now, the reason I say this is because you need to have, they need, more important than your company is how your prospect views themselves doing what you're doing. So if you do not use any tools, so what would that mean? That would mean maybe I meet someone at a Starbucks and I just do a presentation, a full presentation right in front of them. I may close them. I'm not saying you can't do that. But if you do not use tools, that's a negative 10 points. If you take objections and rejection personally, that's negative 30 points. And let me tell you, if you talk too much and then you take objections and rejection personally, I would say there's a 99% chance you will not sponsor that person. And this scorecard, just so you know, is not in mass. This is individually. So I'm saying on an individual basis, if you are talking to Joe Smith and Joe Smith hits you with an objection, hits you with a rejection, and you take it personally, for that prospecting session, you'll lose 30 points. Does this make sense? Let me check in with you guys. Does this make sense? Cool. All right. Cool. People are asking what kind of tools, Ray. If you have gone through numisgrowth.com, you know the answer to that question. If you have not, I would suggest you go through it. In numisgrowth.com, I suggest multiple tools, such as the recorded webinars, numispromotion.com and numis4networkers.com. To be honest, there are some of you out there that I think you either lied to me and said you went through numisgrowth.com, or you went through it just to check it off a list and didn't actually pay attention to what it said. Maybe you didn't take notes, maybe you didn't, you just want to mark it off a list, or maybe you're lying, whichever. Keep in mind, I'm like your doctor. If you lie to me, I can't help the disease. And there are people that I've talked to that tell me they talk to 39 people per day, and I know they're lying. And so, I give them a couple pieces of homework to show them that, and I know they won't do it. And you don't have to lie to me. Just let's get to the root of the problem. If I'm your doctor, tell me what hurts. Tell me what you're doing and not doing so I can help the problem. This is not about looking good to me, because keep in mind, I'm going to make money. I'm going to build this business. I'm going to hit every single rank in this company, and I'm going to be making $1 million a month, period. Whether you will depend on your honesty with yourself and with me and with the other leaders in the company. So please don't worry about your image. There are some people on my team that they feel that they haven't earned the right to call me because they haven't performed. I never said that. You said that. I have never instructed someone not to call me. Okay? Please call me. Let's try to fix the problem. All right? So, some more negatives. There's a few more here. Okay? And why do I cover, Ray, why do you talk about the negatives? Aren't we supposed to be positive and rainbows and unicorns and babbling brooks over, beautiful forest breezes, right? Yes, we're supposed to be positive, but I see so many people making these mistakes. I'd be living in a bubble if I didn't bring them up. And so I hope that you're getting benefit out of these. Negative self-talk. I hear this all the time. I wish I had the money that I used to. I wish that I had confidence. I wish that I was a leader. Okay? All of these are things that you are admitting you are not presently. Why the hell would someone want to sign up with someone who doesn't have confidence, who feels they are dead broke? Why? Why would someone, so the question becomes, would you sign up with you? If you say no to that question, that is negative 50 points. So let's review. Let's think about this. If you talk too much and you have negative self-talk, you're negative 100 points. That means you have very little chance of sponsoring that person. Very, very little. If you become defensive, and this is almost like taking it personally, but if you become defensive, it looks really ugly. Where this looks really ugly is on Facebook, and I see it every day. I see people become defensive about their MLM. Negative 10 points. That could actually be a little bit higher. If you use hype or you lie, if you are dead broke and you're telling people that you're making so much money that they'd never believe it, uh, that will hurt you. If you're saying this is a billion-dollar company and it's a ground floor opportunity and that they will make $100,000 if they join right now, negative 15 points, not going to help you. If you focus on yourself or your company, and that includes the product, that includes the compensation plan, versus the needs of the prospect, that's negative 20 points. Okay? Now, so let's talk about this. So if you don't know the actual problem that the prospect may be trying to address, and then you also focus on yourself or the company, that's negative 40 points. That stings. Here is a subconscious one. If you don't know where to send them if they join, that's negative 10 points. And hear me out on this one. I have had multiple people, after I grill them, okay, multiple representatives in my team, and they never know this going into it, but after I grill them and ask them question after question after question, I come to find out that if they do sponsor somebody, they have no idea how to get them started. If you start a transaction, if you start an interaction with somebody, and you don't know where to send them if they do decide to join, that's going to weigh against you. In fact, you may self-sabotage that from even sponsoring that person. If you don't know where to send them if they join, that's negative 10 points. Okay. Oh, by the way, well, let's cover that. Before we go into the positives, let's cover that. Here is what I do when I sponsor someone, when I sponsor or enroll somebody. And I'm kind of using those terms interchangeably, even though Numis kind of use them, they use them a little bit differently. We're using, in this presentation, we're saying sponsor and enroll, same thing, okay? If I enroll somebody, keep in mind, I already know their problem they're trying to address because I asked them. I already know their wants, needs, and desires. I probably know how many hours they're going to work it, right? At least what they've told me. That's before they actually join. Once they do join, I send them to numisgrowth.com. I have them go through steps 1 through 4 and the bonus, and then we have a follow-up call. Guess what you can do? You can piggyback off my hard work and send them to the same place. I know a lot of leaders do. You can do that too. Okay, so let's talk about the positives. And these are similar, but some of these have a different point ranking. Are you liking these points so far, by the way? Is anyone having any aha moments? Anyone? All right, cool. Someone like rainbows and unicorns, all right. Don't forget butterflies. Can I give you my elevator pitch? I'm going to give it to you. There are multiple shorter Numis presentations. There's a 6-minute one, there's now a 20-minute one, and there's the standard 27-minute one. By the way, I have never sent any prospect to any presentation less than 27 minutes, ever, never. Because if I haven't gotten their buy-in and I think that this is a scratch-off ticket, I won't send them. You know, I do have a 6-minute presentation, I just never use it. But I know some people would rather, they believe that if it's shorter, that they have a higher possibility of sponsoring them, so they'll use the shorter one. That's fine. I don't care if you use the shorter one. I'm just letting you know I never do, ever. Okay. So here's some positive scores. Okay. If you lead with generic questions, that's plus 10. Because, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to call it the Hippocratic Oath of doctors is do no harm. Do no harm. Whether you're leading with, juice, weight loss, Numis, gold, silver, coins, whatever, okay? You have the possibility, of doing harm, of creating in the very first few moments a negative connotation. It is very hard to get past that negative connotation. My suggestion is to lead with generic questions, which I'm going to share with you. Okay? plus 10. If you know their wants, needs, and desires, okay, just know them. I'm not saying you know how to address them, but you at least took the time to listen like a human being and you understand their wants, needs, and desires. Oh, you want to spend more time with your kids. Oh, you want to travel around the world. Oh, you want to make more money. Ah, got it. Don't assume you know their wants, needs, and desires. Okay? If you know their reason why or their current problem as they see them, not how you see them, that's plus 20 points. It's a nice one. If you talk concisely and you act busy, plus 50 points. Do you know what that does? It raises curiosity. Curious people will watch your presentation. People that believe they're being pitched will not. They'll say, hey, do you have a 30-second one that I can reject you on? Versus, wow, he's up to something. Do you have a full day seminar I can go to learn more about why you're so happy and busy? You see what I'm saying? This is much more about being concise, acting busy, appearing busy, being up to something. People want to be with people who are up to something. You know, when someone asks me, well, Ray, man, you know, I see you have a presentation, but, you know, could you take the time just over the phone? Just give me kind of the highlights. I'm like, you know what, to be honest, I am so swamped. I'm just so swamped, buddy. You know, if this isn't a fit for you, I totally get it. It's totally cool. I got you, man. It's no hard feelings. But, you know, if this is something that you're open to, I can send you the presentation. Unfortunately, I just don't have time to explain everything to you over the phone. See how that works? And that is a mentality of abundance. And some of you are scared to use that, and that's why you have a mentality of lack. Okay? If you properly use tools, do you realize I never do a one-on-one presentation ever? I never do. I just don't. You know, I'll now let me preface that. I'll have a one-on-one conversation. I'll have a one-on-one meeting, but I won't do a one-on-one presentation. You know, if I'm meeting with someone at Starbucks, which I do, I'll meet with them. I'll say, hey, you know, we'll chat, chit chat, how are this, that, do, and I'm going to share with you how to do that, guys. So don't worry, don't get all stressed out. I'm going to share with you what I say. I'm going to share what you can say. But at the end, I'll say, tell you what, just curious, are you open to a side project? Doesn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Oh, why would you be? Oh, okay, well, tell you what, I'm real busy. I got to jump on this call, but give me your information. I'll send you over a little presentation. Check it out. If you're open to it, great. If not, no big deal. Okay, so if you that's me properly using tools. I'll send them to either Numis Promotion or Numis for Networkers. And if you've never heard of them, then you haven't been through the training at numisgrowth.com, or you just didn't take any notes and you just checked it off a list. You know, it's funny. It's funny to me how many people tell me they go through the Numis Growth training and contact me as soon as they're done, and then they ask me 15 questions that are all covered in numisgrowth.com. Happens all the time, almost daily. And so it's I don't actually get offended when people are disrespectful. I don't get offended. I'm kind of weird like that. You know, David Wood says I'm kind of like Buddha, right? I don't get offended when people completely disrespect me. It's okay. You know, I understand people coming from different places and they feel that they can cheat the system. But you're not cheating me. You're not cheating me. I'm efficient with my time. And so you're cheating yourself. That's my suggestion. Okay. If you are unmessable, not cocky, I'm not saying be a jerk, but if you're unmessable with objections and rejection, that's plus 30 points. And you notice that's a pretty powerful jump in points right there. All right. If you have positive self-talk, it's plus 10 points. Because you know what? This should be a given. Now, if you have negative self-talk, it's negative 50. Okay? This is one of those instances where negative is much more impactful than positive. Because you know what? Have you ever seen someone mumble and grumble and Eeyore their way on stage to get a big check? No. This should be a given. You know, this should be actually plus 0 points. It means that you're on a path. But I'm giving it plus 10 points. But if you're negative, this is one of those big gotchas. So guess what? If you go from negative to positive, you've just increased your likelihood by 60 points. 60 points. You've gone from negative 50 to plus 10. Very powerful. Never losing your power by becoming defensive. Do you realize that's what happened? All becoming defensive is a loss of power. You've given it away. If you use candor, if you're honest, tell people what you can and can't do. Tell what the company can and can't do. Be honest with them. Don't hype them. Don't lie to them. If you focus on the needs of the prospect, plus 20 points. If you know, simply just the knowledge of knowing that you can send them to numisgrowth.com, have them go through steps 1 through 4 after they get started, that's plus 10. It's going to eliminate, some of the mental garbage of, well, if I sponsor someone, I don't know what to do with them, so maybe I shouldn't sponsor them. And you don't say that consciously. Your subconscious says that. Okay, very powerful. So let's talk about some scenarios. Let's talk about this. In my opinion, if you have negative 70 or more, you're almost guaranteed not to sponsor that person. And I say almost guaranteed because I have seen people that make every mistake I've ever seen that still find somebody whose wants, needs, desires are so big and their mind is so open that they still join despite the person. But in my opinion, if you have negative 70 or more, you're almost guaranteed not to sponsor that person. You're almost guaranteed. Pretty rare scenario for you to actually sponsor that person. If you talk too much, and here's a scenario. If you talk too much, okay, you don't know their wants or desires or their problem or their why, negative 80 points, you're pretty much toast. Now I'll tell you, 90% of the people that I talk to are in that bracket right there. They talk too much. They have no clue because they're focused on their company. They're focused on the comp plan. They're focused on the product. They're focused on the price. They're focused on everything but the wants, needs, desires, or problem of the prospect. That's negative 80 points. Do you realize that's most network marketers right there? You know, the people on Facebook that send you a link before you even know them, or the people that send you an unsolicited link, or the people that ask you these crazy sales questions. Would you like to be part of an opportunity that is blasting into outer space, right? And just nonsense. It's going to be negative 70 plus, more likely negative 80, maybe even negative 100 points. Toast. Ain't going to happen. If you're plus 70, and pay attention to this, and again, guys, it's my opinion, based on a lot of experience, a lot of coaching, a lot of three-way calls. If you're plus 70 or more on each prospect, you still, and this includes me, do I sponsor and enroll every single person I talk to? I do not. I wish I could say yes. Yes, I hypnotize them into joining and giving. No, that is not the case, okay? If you're plus 70 or more on each prospect, you still won't sponsor them all, but you'll enroll at about 20% or greater over time. How many of you would like to talk to 5 people and have one of them join? That's a pretty good percentage. How many would that? I mean, would that be good? Would 20%? Would that be pretty impressive? Cool. There's some good questions on here. I mean, that'd be impressive, right? And I'll tell you, most people, if they don't make too many mistakes, they'll sponsor about 5% when they're new. If they're not following anything in the prospecting scorecard, it's going to be less than that. It might be 1%. Okay, a little tough. If you're brief and you simply find out their wants and their problem, and guess what? And you use tools, that's like plus 90. If you're brief, you find out their wants and their problem, that's plus 80 points, guys. That's plus 80. Do you know how few people I have that actually do that and are not sponsoring people? It's very few. Now, I have some people that just don't have the work ethic. I have some people that are actually really, really good, but they never talk to anybody. And so they sponsor about 50 to 70% of the people they talk to. They just don't talk to very many people. There are those, minorities, I guess you would call them. There's a few people out there that are really, really good with talking to people. They find out their wants and their problem. They use tools, but they just don't talk to many people. So, they don't sponsor many people, right? And so Here I'm giving you why people fail to sponsor. And I'm going to get real deep in your heads here, guys, because guess what? I'm not looking at the questions right now, but I know without a doubt what 80% of you are thinking right now. And I'm going to share with you, not in this slide, but in the upcoming slides. So here's why people fail to sponsor. Number one, they fail to talk to enough people. Number two, they have no idea the prospecting scorecard. No idea. And guess what? Those of you on here, you now know. You now understand the prospecting scorecard. You know. So now it is built into your system. It is almost like I've taken a shot collar and put it around you so that when you are leading with the product, you get a kind of tiny shock. A little shock. It might hurt a little bit. Okay. When you don't use tools, you get a little shock. Kind of hurts. When you don't know their wants, needs, or problems, you get a little bit bigger shock. Kind of hurts. I mean, you might feel it in your pinky. Your pinky might hurt a little bit the next day, possibly. You might get multiple day kind of wounds there. When you talk too much, it is almost like you broke a rib. You know, I mean, it's serious. You're hurting. You're in pain. You're like, darn it, why did he install this shock collar on me? Okay, you're in pain. You're hurting now. When you do all these different combinations of negative things, that shock collar is shutting you down. You may be down and out. We may have to write you a get well soon card. You know, that's that's the good thing and the bad thing about attending this webinar. Now you're installed with a shock collar. I apologize, or for some of you, I congratulate you. Okay. Number three, they fail to talk to enough people. I repeated myself on purpose. Number four, they're too selfish to talk to their easiest target, their warm market. And we're just calling it like it is. Guess what? Does Ray Higdon care if you talk to your warm market? I do not. You can be as selfish as you want, or you can be as open as you want. It's your call. That does not affect me. Why? Because I am going to build this with or without you. I would love to do it with you. I would love to lock arms with you and have you on stage like the Erwin McKins, have you on stage like the Dave Lovetts, have you on stage like the David Woods, have you on stage with the Terry Petrovics and the Rob Ford. I'd love to join hands in hands. But if you do not, who does that hurt? Does it hurt me? It does not. Why? Because I'm a machine. I will keep going day after day. I will break this rock every single day for the rest of my life. That's what's going to happen. Because I like doing this. So if you choose to refuse all of this information, if you say no to heck with Ray and his ways, doesn't hurt me. It hurts you. Okay. Number five, try to do multiple things at one time versus focus, thereby justifying those that are watching to stay away. Here's what I can guarantee you: if you are on any social media, any at all, if you are in any networking groups, such as meetups, such as real estate networking groups, such as Chamber of Commerce's, you may find an easier way to make some money. And when you start sharing that with the people you have prospected for your company, such as Numis, then they're going to see you as, I guess it didn't work out for them with Numis, so now they're supplementing with something else. And so now they will justify why they should stay away from you, because they just see you didn't fail. You gave up. Okay, it's kind of a tough one for some. Okay, and number six, and I kind of talked about this. It's a self-sabotage of you don't know what to do if you do sponsor somebody. What is your plan? What if tomorrow on Monday you sponsor 5 people? What are you going to do? If you can't answer that question, guess what will not happen? You won't sponsor 5 people. You won't sponsor anybody because you will self-sabotage yourself. You don't know why. All right. How to stop failing. Have a daily number goal to talk to people using the prospecting scorecard. That means have a number goal. Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it 50? Whatever your number is. And then keep in mind the prospecting scorecard. Keep that in mind. What's going to hurt you? What's going to help you? At least cover the big ones. Be brief. Find out their problem. Don't have negative self-talk, right? At least cover the big ones, okay? Cover the big ones. You're going to see a better percentage. Present information after you question. Prevent information after you ask questions of that poor, left alone, mainly in foreclosure, lost their jobs, warm market. Okay? This is how to stop failing. Present information to the people in your warm market without being addicted to the outcome, without being defensive if they say you're in a scheme, without feeling rejected, right? Present information. And if you want to stop constantly reinventing the wheel and stop chasing dollars your whole life, focus on the company and how to advance in your company versus the simple act of making money. And it is simple. It is simple to make money. It is. You can do it a million different ways. It is your choice how you do it. It's just some ways will involve you constantly working hard with no residual versus build something that actually lasts. Build something that lasts. Some of you are so close to bringing on the next leader. And here's something I fully believe. Do you know how many leaders in the network marketing industry that are unfulfilled and unhappy with their company, unhappy with their comp plan, unhappy with the new owners that they just got, right? That have more than 20,000 people in their downline. There's a lot, there's hundreds of them, guys. And so, you know, I told someone this the other day. I believe the biggest leaders in Numis Network have yet to join. You know, someone told me yesterday, they said, Ray, I just didn't think there were any leaders left that would possibly join Numis Network until you brought on Rob Four. I had someone tell me that. How many other people think that every other leader is happy with their company? That is not the case. There are constantly companies bringing on new owners, companies changing their compensation plans, companies coming under fire from the attorney generals. There's constant, you know, leaders looking for new homes. And if you are out there not talking to them, you'll never get them. Okay? Know where to point new recruits once they are in. If it's Numis, numisgrowth.com, steps 1 through 4 in the bonus. And feel free, and I really want you to understand this, okay? I do not have the capacity to do every single person's in the company's three-way call, okay? I lack that capacity. I can do a lot of them, but I cannot take on, you know, 19,000 people that all want me to do three-way calls every single day. It's impossible. But what I can do, and I'm more than open to do, is when you bring on a new rep, and I've had several people this week bring on new reps, I am more than happy to call that person, welcome them, make them feel good, make you look good, whether you're in my team or not. I know some of you on here aren't even in my team. That's quite all right. All right. Are you ready? And I have not looked at the questions. Are you ready for me to reach through my screen, through your eye sockets, right into your cortex, right into the brain matter that you have, and read it like a tablet. Read it like I read a book at night. Read it like hear what your thoughts are, like I do when I'm listening to Tony Robbins in the morning walking around my neighborhood. Are you ready for me to absolutely read your mind? 80% of you. 20% of you, you will never fall into this category, and those of you are the guys that are having success right now. 80% of you, I'm about to read your mind. You ready for this? Here we go. For the people that prefer to have excuses, they still don't understand. They want me to cover the script because they've never seen ways to talk to people. Never seen it. If only someone in this, let's see, 79-year-old established $114 billion industry, if only someone would give me the script of Gibraltar, the script of Magellan, the Excalibur of how to talk to people, that would give me success. That would be the key. So for those that prefer to have excuses right now, you're saying, well, Ray, this is all good. This is all fine and dandy, but how do I actually talk to people? How do I talk to them? Oh, some of you are so upset right now. Some of you are, I still haven't looked at the questions, so there's still time to delete your question, right? What? You know, this is all great, Ray, talking about people's problems and whatnot, but how do I approach people? Here's a small list. Rob Four, Robert Brewer, David Wood, Dave Lovett, Earl McKinn, Jessica Peretti, John Dowdy, Chris Kent, Jacob Organ, Kenneth Lisa Bristol, Ron Gielich, and myself have all taught phrases and scripts to prospect that are on numisgrowth.com and in the Numis back office. Some are in video format, some are written, some are in audio, some are on CDs that you can listen to as you drive around town. There are very few leaders that have not produced content to help you with this exact question. However, if you are holding on to this excuse, you will purposely not enroll anyone, as your subconscious doesn't feel it's right to bring someone into something that may not work. Did this one kind of sting? Was it kind of, you know, I was watching this this show today called Deadliest Warrior, and they showed you know, where they take a historical real, right, a real warrior from history, and they use computer simulations to determine which one would win in a fight. It's kind of a funny, kind of weird kind of show, but it's kind of neat. And they had the ninja fighting the Spartan, right? You know, the movie 300, you know, Spartan, big guys, big shields, helmets, right? So the ninja versus the Spartan. And, you know, they said that, you know, the ninja, and they actually had the Spartan win, which I disagree with. Come on, ninja, can't beat the ninja. All right, we're getting off topic here, but bear with me. They said the ninja, they use these things called black eggs. So they would hollow out an egg, they'd put a little hole in the top, take out all the egg, and they would put in it crushed glass and chili pepper. Crushed glass and chili pepper. They fill it up with the egg, paint the egg black, and then whenever they were in a bind, they would crush the egg in their hands. They would carry these eggs on them. They would crush the eggs in the ham, throw it at the eyes of their opponent. Can you imagine getting crushed glass, smashed up little bits of glass and chili pepper into your eyes, into your cornea, and then blinking and it's grinding away at your eyes? For some of you, that was this slide. And I apologize if you're wincing right now. Right? Does that hurt? Oh, stings. Stings so badly, Ray. Why do you sting me so? It's because I want you to succeed. It's because I want you to succeed, guys. It's not because this, you know, it doesn't make me feel good to kick you squarely in the rear. That doesn't make me feel good. That's not why I do this stuff. It's just I hear the same stuff every single day from the same people. Give me the script, Ray. All right, let's move forward. So here, I'm going to do what's so blasphemous to me. I'm actually going to give you a script. It's so crazy. So we're going to do a recap of every single prospecting session that I've ever done, okay? And I'm going to give you that script so you can never, ever use this excuse ever again. In fact, I've also downloaded the software to your shot caller so that when you say, I just don't know how to say to people, I just don't know how to approach people, you may have your left foot go numb. You know, if it happens multiple times, your knees may buckle. It's going to be tough for you. It's going to be tough. We're going to send you get well cards. All the leaders, you know, we're all going to get together, sign a big get well card, send it over to you, and hopefully we can get you prospecting by following our actual advice, and we can get that shot caller off you. Cool. So here's a recap of every prospecting session you've ever been on with perhaps a slight twist. Here's a recap of how to approach. Build rapport. Ask rapport building questions. For online, and hear me out here, because a lot of people, they flock to the online market because they think it's the easiest. It's actually the longest. I'm not saying you can't do it. You can. But for online, this is the longest process, as they are viewing you with they're viewing you with kind of narrowed eyes, saying, all right, this person's asking me about my puppy. When are they going to pitch me something? Because I've fallen for this before. For online, this is the longest process, as the person you're talking to is constantly pitched, typically the most highly skeptical, and is already involved in an opportunity already. So they've been taught how to build rapport too. Okay? But here's some examples. I see you have a dog, cat, weasel, bird. I see you like the Colts, Niners, Sixers, Lightning. I see you have kids. I see you work at. Now, these examples and how to build rapport, this is for online or offline. Either one. You can use it. Okay? Be a human being and be nice. They are not a hunk of meat. Don't look at them as a hunk of meat. Okay? This is not how quickly can I pitch them. This is let me actually find out about them. Because guess what? You may learn you don't want to work with them. There are people that I start this process with that I never complete because I just think they're too negative and I don't want to work with them. Okay? And by the way, I know what you're thinking. I'm letting you know I'm a master at reading minds in this industry. I'm just a master. I get it. I know how to do it. Okay? Some of you are saying, well, shoot, if I was close to ambassador, I'd be picky too. Well, it's this attitude that got me here, not the other way around. I didn't start having this elite attitude when I got here. I had it. That attitude of being selective of who I work with is what got me here. It's what kept me from being stressed. That's what got me here. Okay? So when to introduce opportunity? Because I know this is your question. It's always the question. When I say, yeah, build rapport, first question people say, well, when do I pitch them? Ray, when do I slam it down their throat? When do I tape it to the end of a mallet and balance it off their head? Right? All right, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you when to introduce opportunity. It's harder to time online. And here's the exact reason why. You can talk to them tomorrow. You can talk to them the next day. You have forever ready access to them. That's why it's harder to time this. It's harder to time an opportunity because you have unlimited access to them every single day the rest of your life. If you're connected as a Facebook friend, they will see you forever. Okay? That's actually a problem. It's a problem because you don't have an opportune time to really time it correctly. So you have to wait it out. That's why it's a little bit longer process when it is online. Okay? Offline or warm market, it's easier because you do not have a guaranteed way to communicate at a later date. This includes warm market. I don't know the next time I'm going to see my buddy from high school. I don't know. I don't know the next time I'm going to see this random person I met at a meetup. I don't know if I'll ever see him again. So that actually creates an opportunity to present your opportunity. Okay? So for online, you want to move slower to make your cold market your warm market. And I say it's very rare to sponsor an online lead within 30 days of contact. Very rare. Now, some of you, you're sending your pitch in with your hello. Hello there, I see that you're in Utah. Fantastic. Would you like to make more money from home? Click this link and hopefully you'll join and I'll make money. Smile, right? Smiley face, right? That is extremely ineffective and will quickly get you marked as a spammer and they'll unfriend you. That's what I do, right? Or you can flip them around, right? For offline and warm market, you have an advantage because you can manufacture or have a real break in communication. Now, this is very powerful stuff. Do you guys get this? Do you guys get what this is saying? Anyone getting this? Some of you are cursing. Okay, let me get into some examples. Some of you don't know what I'm talking about. All right, cool. A lot of you do. Some of you, looks like, if I had to guess, 80% of you that responded do get it, and 20% do not. Okay, all right, let's go back. Let me give you some examples. If you're on, all right, let me just get into this. You know, for offline, this takes longer. That should say online. I apologize. It should say, again, for online, not offline. Online, this takes longer to be more effective because you want them to actually ask about you and you never want to send an unsolicited link. I do not send a URL to someone that does not ask me for it. I get them to ask me for it. It is not a simple, what do you do? It's they have to ask me, hey, can you send me more information? That's when I send them a link. Okay, so this is for online. All right, here you go. Now, for cold market, you will never see them again. What could that mean? That could mean I am at a networking function, and maybe it's for a charity, and I meet Bob. Bob is there. Bob is with his wife, having a drink, and we start talking. Bob, I read by your name badge that you work for Prudential. How long you work there? Oh, that's cool. How'd you get into it? Oh, fantastic. Oh, do you like it? Oh, great. Cool, cool. Well, hey, Bob, you know what? I got to get going here. I saw a couple people walk in. I got to go connect with them. Now, pause. Do you see I just created a gap in communication? I just created a gap where there is a non-guaranteed repeat of communication. Do you see why that's different on Facebook? There is no urgency on Facebook. Why? Because they'll be on Facebook tomorrow for an hour and 20 minutes. They'll be on Facebook the next day, 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 the next day. I cannot manufacture a break in communication. You know, if someone is chatting with me on Facebook, okay, there's no break of communication that I can manufacture. They're going to be there tomorrow. They're going to be able to chat with me later tonight, maybe in the morning. But for offline, I have a manufactured or a real break in communication. And so if it was the end of the night, I could say to Bob, you know what, Bob, me and Jessica are going to head out, but hey, just throwing it out there, but would you be open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? This is after Bob and I have talked a little bit. And if Bob responds positively, I'm going to ask him why. Or has something changed recently? Just curious, Bob, why are you open? Just curious, Bob, has something recently changed in your life that has you open? I'm going to listen to them and say, oh man, that's powerful stuff. I do think we need to talk. Bob, let me get your name, your email, your phone number, and I'll give you a call in the next couple days or so. I do not give them my presentation. I do not hand them a CD or DVD. I do not hit them with a sales pitch right there and then. I ask them 2 questions. Would you be open? Why? Would you be open? Why? And I was able to time this correctly because there is a either manufactured or real break in communication. Do you guys understand what I mean by break in communication? Do you see how that's an opportunity? Okay, everybody? Some of you had questions before. Okay, cool. No, someone's saying no. You don't understand. Break in communication, meaning, am I going home with Bob? Is Bob now, am I now moving in with Bob? Will I go into a state where Bob is no longer around me? Well, that is a break in communication. Manufactured break would be me saying, hey, Bob, I got to jump on this phone call. But hey, let me ask you a question. Let me throw it out there. Would you be open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Oh, really? Well, why, Bob? Has something recently changed, Bob? See, that's a manufactured. Whether I have to grab a phone call or not, I have manufactured a break in communication. Now, if I'm talking to Bob on Facebook, hey, Bob, I see you went to the University of Idaho. Fantastic. Did you play ball there? Great. Hey, Bob, I'm just throwing it out there. See, then it looks like it was just meant for a sales pitch. There's no break in communication. Does that make sense, Rick? Does that help you out? Okay, clear now. Great. Awesome. Let's keep moving. Now, here's what some people ask me. Some people, they say, well, Ray, I take my kids to a soccer game. I take my kids to the school play. I have this Kiwanis, meetup, and there's some people in there I don't really know. Now, notice, I am not talking about warm market. Warm market, you could just be more straightforward with. I'm talking about your cold market. So, are there people at the soccer game or the school play or the casino or the networking function that you don't really know? Well, great. Well, you don't want to hit somebody. You don't want to hit one person at the beginning of a game and then be stuck beside them for 2 hours, because then you're going to have to explain your entire company, right? And I've told you that you get negative 50 points if you explain everything and you talk too much. So you don't want to do that, right? So for recurring situationals, such as those situations, tell them, hey, you know what? I have to grab a call. Hey, I have to grab a call but I'm just throwing it out there. Would you be open to a side project that didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? This is after you've talked, right? After you've built rapport. And if they say, well, yes, or they say, well, what is it? Or if they respond positively, you say, you know what? I do have to grab this call, but let me ask you. Why? Why are you open? I'm just curious. Why are you open before I have to grab this call? Why are you open? Has something changed recently? Okay, cool. Well, tell you what. Let me jump on this call, but I do think we should talk. Let me get your contact information. Okay? Let me get your contact information. I have manufactured a break in communication. Or if it is the end of the game, hey, I'm going to grab little Timmy, I'm going to head out, but hey, just throwing it out there. You know, I see you here every once in a while. Would you be open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Oh, you would. Let me just ask you, why? You know, just curious. Just curious. Why? Has something recently changed? Are you just always looking, you always open, or what? Oh, okay. Well, that sounds pretty good. Let me get your contact information. Love to chat with you, and you know, we'll be in touch. You want to absolutely prevent you from doing a full presentation or you spending the next 2 hours explaining your company, your comp plan, how it works, what it's all about, etc. And this is also at the same time being brief, being concise, and being busy. That adds you 30 points. Is this any light bulbs going off on this prospecting scorecard? And I actually just covered within less than 3 minutes ago, if they ask, what is it? Okay. If they ask, what is it? I just covered it 3 seconds ago. Okay. 3 seconds ago, I said, if they ask, if they respond positively, if they say, well, yes, I would be open, or, well, what is it? I would ask them, just curious, you know, I'll be happy to answer that, but just curious, why would you be open? You know, something recently changed, why would you be open? And they say, all right, cool. All right, well, I have to go get this call. I have to take Timmy home. I have to go meet, my husband, my spouse, my wife, whatever, right? I got to run. Let me get your contact information. I'll give you a call next couple days, and we'll chat. Okay? Hopefully that helps you. Light bulbs, my whole head is lit up. That's cool. Awesome. So, you will have success if you follow the steps I've outlined in the prospecting scorecard. If you get them to tell you their why, their wants, and their problems, that will not only have you a much higher percentage of chance of sponsoring them, but also of keeping them. You know, this is a grind, guys. You know, every day when I first started and every day now, it's a grind. You got to keep at it. You know, if you want something you've never had, you got to be willing to do something that you've never done. And here's what's cool. When I hear a big why, when I hear someone really get into the nitty-gritty of how, you know, their son needs an operation or something, you know, really inspirational, it inspires me. It inspires me to really root for them and really hope that they have the hunger to get it done. Because I've seen, has the industry produced success in a fairly quick fashion for a lot of people? Yes. So we know it's possible. It's not like we're venturing into the unknown. It's not like we don't know if this thing will ever work out. It has worked out. It worked out for me, worked out for a lot of other people. By the way, do you realize, you know, I'm right on the cusp of ambassador. The only way for you to get to ambassador is I have 2 5-stars. And for those to get to 2 5-stars, they have to have like 2 4-star managers. Do you see that you can't get to a high level without helping people? You can't do it. It's impossible. Okay? Only talk to a warm market. And I actually don't mean this as bad as it sounds. Only talk to your warm market when you're not in a selfish demeanor. Okay? And here's what I mean. If you're in an attitude of, man, I'm so pissed off at my non-success. All right, I'm going to call my warm market. Well, you're coming from a realm of being selfish. Okay? Only talk to your warm market when you're okay with them telling you no. When you're okay with them not being sure if it was a right move for you. Talk to them when you are simply looking at how you can possibly help them, but not being addicted to the outcome. So you want to be careful of the state that you're in when you talk to your warm market, if you do. All right. And so at this point, I have a very brief add-on to this presentation. First of all, before I get into a very NUMA specific thing, did you guys get value out of this? You guys get value? All right, cool. Awesome. Great stuff. I mean, I said things a little bit differently. Some of them challenged you, and you know, some of them you've never heard. You've never heard these things. There's a lot of comments. Wow. Cool. Awesome. Lots and lots of comments. I'm glad you got value. All right, so this part right here, and I'm going to keep it very, very brief. This is for my Numis team only.